Billing documents, such as invoices, usually need to be output. The standard output channel for billing documents is print, so that a printed copy can be sent to the bill to party. In the system, each instance of the billing document to be output is represented as an output item. By adding additional output items for other output channels such as email, outputs of the same billing document can be sent to multiple receivers across different output channels. SAP S/4HANA Output Control creates output items for billing documents according to business rules and decision tables that we can set up in the Output Parameter Determination app. The system then sends output according to which rules the billing document fulfills. We will now have a look at how we can ensure that the system creates the second output item for all billing documents that fulfill certain criteria. In this example, we'll keep it simple and say that we want all billing documents from a specific sales organization, SalesOrg 1210, to be emailed to the contact person specified in the billing document, as well as to be printed in the usual way. For more information about how decision tables work within the Output Parameter Determination app, go to SAP Help Portal and search for Configuring SAP S/4HANA Output Control within your version of SAP S/4HANA or SAP S/4HANA Cloud. To change the rules that the system uses to determine output items, I need to be logged in as an administrator and open the Output Parameter Determination app. This app allows me to define default output settings for specific business objects, including billing documents. I do this by creating rules in decision tables. As I want to change the settings for billing document output, I select Show Rules for Billing Document. I start by checking the first determination step, which is called Output Type. The rule logic is always the same for each step. On the left side I see the input condition, in this case the billing type, and on the right side, marked in green, the resulting output for the specified input. In this case, billing type is empty, so it acts as a wildcard, meaning that for all billing types, the designated output type is billing_document, and the dispatch time is set to immediately. This simply means that no scheduled job is required to trigger the output. This actually fulfills my business requirement, so I continue to the next determination step. In the receiver step, I can define the sending sales org for which I want the additional output item for channel email to be created. In addition to the standard printout, I want all billing documents that fulfill my rules to be sent via email to a contact person in a specific sales org. To make the required changes, I enter editing mode. Because I want to create a rule that evaluates the billing document sales org, I need to add a sales org field to the table as a condition by clicking Table Settings. Here, I can change the condition columns and the result columns. Because I want to determine a receiver based on the sales org, I need to add the sales org as a condition value. Under Condition Columns, I click Insert Column and select From Context Data Objects. I can now choose sales org from a list of available fields. Here's a tip: if none of the fields listed fulfill your requirement, you can also include custom fields that you have created via extensibility. Simply create the fields you need in the Custom Fields and Logic app using the business context sales billing document, and then enable the custom field for billing document output management parameter determination. After selecting the sales org field, clicking OK twice brings you back to the decision table. I now have a condition column for the sales org and can use it to define a rule. In addition to being printed, I want any billing document coming from SalesOrg 1210 to also be emailed to the contact person. To achieve this, I add a new row. For the output type, I choose Direct Value Input and enter billing_document, then choose OK. Using the same method, I now enter a value for the sales org, SalesOrg 1210, and the role. The code for the contact person role is AP. Next, I set the exclusive indicator to false. This ensures that the output determined for a billing document from SalesOrg 1210 is also still sent to the bill to party, which is represented by role code RE. Note that the rows are always processed from the top downwards, so your rule should always be arranged from most specific to most general. If required, I can change the row order using the arrow buttons. So there will now be a total of 2 output items created for billing documents from Sales Org 1210. For all other sales orgs, there will be only 1 output item created, with recipient RE. By clicking check, I can verify that the rules are valid. I then use activate to make my changes available in the system. The next step is to define the channel for the output item. The default setting is channel print, but I want to add to this so that the invoice is sent to the contact person via email, so I enter editing mode. I create a new row and enter my rule for which output type must be equal to billing_document. Role must be set to AP, which represents the contact person. I can select the required channel by clicking direct value input and then choosing email from the input help. Because I want the output for the contact person to only be emailed but not to be printed, I set the exclusive indicator to true. Since the rules are always processed from top to bottom, the system would now check the row with the unspecified role, and as the exclusive indicator is false there, it would go on to the next line. So the result would be 2 output items for the contact person, 1 print and 1 email. To change this, I select the contact person row and move it up by 1. Now the rule for the contact person is processed first and returns the result email. Because it has been set to exclusive, the system would now stop the determination for the contact person right there. To make my changes available in the system, I again use the buttons check and activate. The next relevant determination step is email recipient. Here, I could add a rule to change the receiving email address of the receiver, but since I want to use the email address of the contact person maintained in the master data, I leave this step empty and continue to the next step, which is called email settings. Here I need to add a rule because I want the email that is sent to use a specific email template. So I again enter editing mode and add a new row. I enter billing_document as the output type and enter the email template that I want to use. I can enter the template directly or choose from a list of all available templates. As usual, I check the entry and activate the current determination step before moving on to the next step. In the next step, I could tell the system to use a different form template or form language than the default one, but because I don't need to make changes here to fulfill my requirements, I move on to the last step, output relevance. In the output relevance step, I could define when I want the output to be triggered, that is, when the email and printout are to be sent. Again, I don't need to make changes here for my use case. As I have now made all the settings that are required for my use case, I want to finish by testing whether everything works as expected. Remember, for all billing documents created for Sales Org 1210, I want the system to create 2 output items, the default item for channel print and the item for channel email that sends an email copy of the invoice to the contact person specified in the billing document. To demonstrate this, I have already prepared an invoice for Sales Org 1210 that contains a contact person. To take a look at it, I need to log on as a billing clerk. I open the Change Billing Documents app, enter my document number, and hit enter. By looking at the header details, you can see that it is indeed from Sales Org 1210, and that a contact person has been entered. I now go back and click the Display Output Request button to take a look at the associated output items. Here, I can see the output item that the system determined before I made my changes in the Output Parameter Determination app. To test my new settings, I first want to get rid of the old output item, so I delete it. I can then use the button Determine Items to redetermine the output items according to my new output determination rules. As you can see, the system has now created 2 output items, one for the contact person with channel email and one for the bill to party with channel print. I have therefore fulfilled and tested the requirement I specified earlier, which was that all billing documents from Sales Org 1210, in addition to being printed, are emailed to the contact person specified in the billing document.